All right, mic check, everybody. Mic check. See how we sound. So far, so good. Everything's looking pretty good. Let's wait a few minutes, see if any of the usual suspects chime in. Of course, this will always be out for a review later on the website. All right, what do we got? All right, what's happening, everybody? Mish here. Looks like you know what? This might be a good time. 11:30 on a Sunday. Hour and a half before the kickoff gives everybody enough time to check the ESPN, the fantasy reports, and all the other websites to see what's going on, and to look at your lineups, and then come in and chop it up a little bit right here, kick it off before the game starts. So I like this 11:30 time. If you guys like it or don't like it, that works. Well, if you don't sign in, obviously you don't care because if you're not live with me, then what time I come on doesn't matter. You're always going to watch it later. But either way, hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos on YouTube. I still think it's better than Facebook. Nothing's going to convince me any different of that. Let's see if anybody's online yet. John, my man. So got John online. John is probably, if I had a more loyal customer, it is John. So I'm trying to figure that. So when I have my rewards program, John, your instant elite membership, diamond, lifetime diamond right off the bat. The other guys need to put some time in because John and Val used to get on here. Val's not in the league. I don't know what she's doing with YouTube. I have to invite her in. Even though she's not in the league, she's always welcome. You other guys out there, like, I know I had Charlie, or not Charlie, Timo, some other guys. Even if you're not in the league, if you participated, you just like having some fun, listening to me talk my shit, you're always welcome back. Shooting for that top fan rating. Well, John, this was BCS. You're number one, and I don't have a two, three, or four right now. So there's right now the top five are Maris, and Maris. So maybe somebody squeeze into the number six spot, but you got the top five locked down. But Charlie was in last week. So like I said, you guys, when Charlie's involved, everything it's always for the better. And hopefully more of you guys will get in on this stuff because it is a lot of fun. Easier for me. I feel like if I'm talking to somebody out here, uh, even though I can rant and rave with the best of them, and I am entertaining. So I'm I'm here for the people. I'm a man of the people. Um, Let me switch over here to my new screen here. Um, I did a trial run early in the season. John was part of that, and what I was doing was, while I had my little broadcast me in the bottom corner, I was running highlights from ESPN. I mean, NFL on YouTube, and I got hit with basic cease and desist. Like, hey man, that's copyright information. I said, but fucking YouTube, I'm just broadcasting what y'all already broadcasting. But apparently they can do it. You can't link to that. So hopefully YouTube doesn't hit me with the same of me posting the stuff from the fantasy league. I doubt that they would, because I am convinced Yahoo has put the minimum amount of budget into fantasy sports and sports in general. So YouTube, excuse me, if Yahoo has something against this, they might find it by the end of next season because these motherfuckers don't know sports. Period. Um, I don't know how I can engage them to where they can, respond back. But I'm getting ready to. I want to start an online battle with Yahoo Sports. I don't know if anybody y'all that see this can help me out with that, but that is my goal. I want Yahoo to respond to me some kind of way because you motherfuckers don't know sports. Period. I only do football. I've not done baseball and basketball in Yahoo, but if you fuck football up like this, and that to me is the easiest of sports because it's just a weekly thing. I can only imagine how fucked up basketball and baseball are with your daily games and whatever. So anybody that's played Yahoo Sports, you can hit me up. And if you got some complaints, you can run them through me, and I'll take them to the man. For you guys that were back in our old General Dynamics days, how I used to rant and rave at Don's all hands meeting, I'll do that here too. That's what I do. Somebody's got to be the guy to take it to the man, and that's what I do best. So let's take a quick look. Take a quick look. Yeah, I get mumble mouth and I get the rambling, so I have to slow myself down. Not so slow that I sounded so much. All right, anyway. Let's look at this week's lineup, see what's going on based off the Thursday game and what's coming up. So let's look at my game. I got the commish versus Purdy Fly Guy. Uh, Last place team. He lost last week bad. I lost last week. So I said, oh, this should be a good win to put me in the books. But doesn't look that way. Looking bad for the commish because fucking Terry McLaurin and can't knock the Green Bay D. So Green Bay against Washington, they did their thing. They only gave up 18 points. They were solid, not getting a lot of turnovers. They had 4 sacks, so I'm happy with the Green Bay D. Uh, Terry McLaurin, I think, was my first receiver I took. Um, or might have been Jameson Williams. I know I'm pretty sure it was Terry McLaurin. Um, Either way, I'm not. It's not panning out yet. I gotta believe him not playing in camp hurt, but hopefully they'll get that together. If not, I'm in trouble all year because my receivers are thin. Um, let's see, what do we got? Uh, Jaden Daniels had a basically that projection game. He was 24.18, scored 23. They're not looking that good, but he did get uh, 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion that I hope that bailed out his fantasy because he only had 200 yards passing. Nico Collins hasn't done much yet. Brian Thomas has the surfer board thrown to him. Totally parlayed against the Rams. So even though I start out slow, as we all know, these projections don't mean shit. I think I can win this game. I said I think I can win this game. I made a key decision to get rid of Bo Dukes, and I picked up Geno Smith. If fucking Bo Dukes lights up the Colts and I lose, I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna kick myself every week for not taking Lamar Jackson like I had intended to. So I'm gonna pay for that not for that draft pick for the rest of the season. I can feel it. 'Cause I could have still picked up bad receivers and still had at least the number 1 or 2 quarterback with a solid running back. So and a tight end. So I had the right thing. I just bad decision by the commish. But overall, I think I can win this game. I'm looking at his players. I don't see any potential player of the week type of players on his roster. So any of these guys or a combination of such could be a bust. DeAndre could bust. Pollard can bust. Thomas is going to bust with Surfer throwing to him. T. Higgins might have the good game, but you may want to get Jamar Chase on track because you paid him all that money. You're going to start targeting him. So T. Higgins might feel the back blast of that. And Cincinnati defense, which sucks, but they are getting once again Jacksonville. So fuck that. Commission's win. I'm gonna win that game. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, we got Balco and Survivor Score. That's Rodney. So Balco already has a solid 1.7 from prosecutor. Hey, I fell for that in another league, Darren. So don't feel bad. Really thought, he got a lot of carries, he got a lot of work. He was going to do something against Green Bay, and he did all of that for 17 rushing yards. That's it. So Darren is off to a bad start. Luckily, he has a win. Even with that, he's still scheduled or projected to beat Survivor Squad. So let me see what's going on with Rodney here. Mahomes should be okay. Amon Ra should be okay. Drake London is hurt. He doesn't have a designation, but I'm almost certain that Drake London might be out. Okay, he says right, doesn't have a designation. Um, I hope he's not one of those last minute scratches. They're known for that to say, at 12:59, hey, we want to tell you guys for the 1 o'clock game, Drake London's a scratch. So not hope that happens. Pacheco, there's all kind of backfield problems in Kansas City. Ramondre Stevenson may not even be on the depth chart by the end of this week, even if it is Miami. I think Hawkinson is hurt. Let's see. No, he just didn't get targeted. And then once again, he's got quarterback issues, and you got receivers who want the ball, notably Jefferson. So Hawkinson numbers may help go down. Chris Olave. It doesn't matter who's the receiver in New Orleans. That quarterback situation is horrendous. And then Pittsburgh D against Seattle, that could be okay, but um, Survivor Scrolls could go 0 and 2, and they might be in CP3 territory. This might be the lowest scoring team overall at the end of week 2. But I think Balco wins that. All right, what do we got? Brady's Bunch and Fat Belly. Oh man, this is like game of the week. You got two powerhouses going at it right away. The first place team and the third place team on points, power ranking. These guys, I said these are two heavyweights, y'all. So if Brady's Bunch and Fat Bellies, it's a coin toss. They haven't had anybody play, so that's good. So no one has an advantage or disadvantage from the Thursday night game. So this is straight up. So you got quarterback should be a push. Not that I don't believe Herbert's a better quarterback than Josh Allen, but the Las Vegas defense is not that great. Josh Allen goes up against the Jets, so some of those receivers may not have a great receiving game, but they'll pick on somebody else. So they're not going to throw at Sauce Gardner. So whoever Sauce lines up with, the other guy is going to light him up. And Josh is still running the ball. They got their JV version of the tush push. So the Jets aren't really a physical team, but they do have good corners. So I think Josh still has a good game. McConkey is liable to light up Las Vegas, and if he does, with the Herbert McConkey combination, John's not losing this game. So if Herbert and McConkey link up and have the big game, which they are more than able of doing, looks good. Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't think he's going to repeat what he did last week. Uh, Cortland Sutton got Bo Dukes thrown to him, so anything can happen. I don't think he makes 14. Um, Emeka, I think, hits 15. I told you I like Baker Mayfield. I think that Baker's going to sling the ball around. They're not really running it like you thought they would, but he makes projections. So I'm calling this receivers in favor of Brady's bunch. Running back easily goes John. Okay, Saquon and Kyron Williams over Chase Brown, who's not bad. I said the fact that they've got him projection over Saquon is we'll see. Maybe it's because of Jacksonville's defense they're doing that, but I just see Joe Burrow throwing the ball to make up for last week. So I don't know unless they get so far out in front, and then you're not running Chase Brown anyway. You're running second stringer. So and J.K. Dobbins, I don't even think he's a clear number one in Denver. So advantage John on running backs, tight ends. Um, see, this is the shit I'm talking about. Tyler Warren was a solid. I think he had close to double digit targets last week. And like I said, 9 targets, 7 catches, 77 yards, no touchdowns. So he scored 14 and a half. And what are they projecting with this week? 9. No fucking way that guy's a 9 point. That is a 13, 14 point tight end. Um, because their Denver's D is not locked in for tight ends. They're locked in on receivers. So I say right now, Tyler Warren gets double digits like and a touchdown. So I'm giving Tyler Warren 15 plus points. Laporta, I say his numbers drop because you got some other mouths that need to be fed in Detroit. Amon Ra, Jameson, and Gibbs. Those guys didn't eat at all last week, so they're going to eat this week at the expense of Laporta. So, and they didn't use Laporta a lot last year, so he kind of fell off. I think that goes back to the before. Zay Flowers, there's no way he's going to do what he did last week. Um, Jefferson can have the good game, but he's hurt by quarterback, so I'm going to call that a wash. Kickers and defense. Baltimore has the edge just because of how bad Cleveland's defense is, but it's the Joe Flacco rivalry game, so Joe Flacco might light them up just because. You old guys might remember it. Joe Flacco was the starter before they finally went to Lamar Jackson, so he might have a axe to grind. You never know. So, but I'm saying that Baltimore still locks that defense up. Arizona against Carolina. They're not going to be able to throw the ball on Arizona, but Chuba's running, so edge to Baltimore. With all that in mind, I'm giving the edge to Brady's bunch. But this is going to be a good game, y'all. In fact, I spent this much time on it. Tell you it's going to be a good game. All right, who we got? Brett and Leo. Once again, no one's played yet. Baker against Aaron. I'm going with Baker. Chase and JSN versus Neighbors and Evans. I'm going with Chase and NGB. Bucky Irvin, James Conner, Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery. David Montgomery is going to split with Gibbs, so I don't know how that's good. But um, James Conner is playing against a very run-friendly defense in Carolina, so I'm going with Irvin and Conner, even though Jonathan Taylor obviously is my guy, who should have gonna have some rough sledding in Denver, but I still like him. Um, Schultz and Kelsey in Philly, I don't see Kelsey lighting them up. Schultz, I'm gonna call that a wash. Waddle and Shakira, that's a wash. Minnesota against Atlanta and Philly against Kansas City. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Brett on this one, even though they're projected. I still think Brett has the better team overall. So Brett, I'm going with Brett on this one. All right, we got Dwayne and Lickety. Lickety splits, my man Mike. So they've already had some players. So Dwayne's got 20, and that 20 is between two players. Josh Jacob with 14, not bad, and a 6 point kicker. Okay. Now Lickety splits, man. Tucker Craft 26. So a 26 point tight end should put him way past projection, and that's what it did. Look at the rest of the players. Look at quarterback. Lamar Jackson is the edge. Receivers, you got CeeDee Lamb and Devonta. I believe he's going to have a good game against Kansas City because Goddard's out. So now he's going to get more looks because Goddard was really eating up his targets. But then you got Puka, who's still number one receiver out there. Pickens, I don't see 14 out of Pickens. I see CeeDee Lamb eating more because of the drop last week. Okay, Josh Jacobs is going to outscore Ashton Genty. Ashton's not going to make 16 unless he gets in the end zone, which I don't think. So I'm giving Ashton Genty between 9 to 11 points. James Cook and Kamara, that's going to be a wash. I think both guys eat. Advantage is going to go to Kamara because out of the backfield, but uh, nah, I'm gonna call it even. No way that Evan Ingram. I said he doesn't even get half of what Tucker Craft already has. So if he gets 13, that's still half of the man that Tucker Craft was already. Jerry Judy, Javonte Williams. Let's see. Quarterback issues. Nah, he's gonna be all right. They don't have a solid running game in Dallas. He's the clear number one. The Giant, I think what Javante has advantage. Giants aren't really big run stuff, but I don't think the Giants are a good team. Kickers are kickers. Defense, Kansas City against Philly, they're gonna run down Kansas City's throat. And then the Rams versus Tennessee, that's advantage Rams. So man, like I say, it's hard to go against lickety splits with a tight end that started out so high. But some of the other advantages. So I'm gonna call this a coin toss in favor of Dwayne's Dandy team. I think Los Angeles gets a defensive touchdown, and the defensive points from the Rams are going to make the difference in this game. That's the commission's call. All right, the last one, my man, Big Al and Charlie. This is another OG matchup. Sack Exchange and Charlie. Neither one have had anybody's play yet. I'm still surprised Charlie has not changed the name of that team. Um, I don't know that there's anybody here outside of a few of us who know Tiffany Amber Thiessen was, but Charlie's usually more creative. It must be work or family or something keeping away from it because we've had way better names than this one. This shouldn't be the name that sticks. If any name was going to stick, it should have been C Weezy. But I'm not going to go on my C Weezy tirade. I should, but I'm not going to. Let's see. But let's look at the quarterback. Dak versus Hurts. Hurts is going to get two tush push touchdowns. Hurts is going to outscore Dak. Okay, Garrett Wilson and AJ Brown. AJ Brown ain't catching shit because Jalen Hurts ain't throwing shit. Even with Goddard out, Devontae is going to be the beneficiary of that. Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf. This is kind of a wash. These are four receivers that I don't think are gonna. I don't think any of them make projections, but I think I'm calling that a push. 10 points from any one of these guys is about all you can expect. Okay, Gibbs and Hubbard versus Henry and a chain. Henry alone makes the favorite on Charlie's team, but don't overlook that because Gibbs has some get back to get. Chubb is the only guy back there he's going to run. It's Arizona. They're not powerhouses against the run. So I would not surprise me to see this running back duo outperform this one. But with King Henry back there, you can't say that for certain. So I'm going to call this a push. Tight ends, Jake from State Farm is going to outperform Mark. Mark Andrews is not getting 9 points. He didn't do anything last week. Let's see, did he score at all? 1.5. I'm going to say he doubles that to 3. So I think the Mark Andrews era is over. So I don't see 9 out of him. Jake, I see more than 8 because when Dak gets in trouble and they start losing, even I don't see them losing to the Giants. Dak is going to throw the ball for his numbers because they have an abysmal running game. So Jake has the advantage. Brees Hall and Aaron Jones. Fuck Aaron Jones. I'm going with Brees Hall. Kickers are kickers. And San Fran's D against New Orleans. I like that because New Orleans quarterback sucks. Houston versus Tampa Bay. Nah, Tampa Bay is moving the ball, and Houston's not that physical that I can remember. So San Fran has the edge, which gives to me I'm giving the edge to Sack Exchange. So Charlie, going to take his first loss, I believe. I'm calling it. So let me recap if I can remember it. I still say I'm going to win. I'm never saying I'm not going to beat CP3. I call for Balco to win. I call for Brady. I call Brett. I call Dwayne. And I call Sack Exchange. So for whatever reason, I called everybody on the left hand side of this screen here. That was not intentional. But I think that's how it's going to be. I think the left side of this beats the right side. So Diesel, Balco, Brady, Brett, Dwayne. I'm pretty sure I might have said, no, I did call Dwayne. That's going to be a close one. I'm still calling Dwayne and Sack Exchange. So that's what I got for picks. Um, players, let's look at some of these points. Let's see who's lighting it up by position and who's not, and who has those players. So quarterback points, and I'm going to say not projections. Let's go week to date. I guess it's only week 1, so well, season totals because we do have a couple of guys that play. So, and all players. So, Jaden Daniels and Jordan Love. But Jaden is only up there because he's already played 2 games. Same for Jordan Love. But you got to figure they're both in the 40s. And you've got Josh at 42 with 1 game, Herbert 33 in 1 game, Rogers 33. So, yeah, these guys are going to fall back out of the top 10 after 2 games once these other players get their second game in. Daniel Jones is still out there. The jury's out on Daniel Jones, and I'm being a Colts fan. Obviously, there's no fucking way I'm calling that guy Indiana Jones until he gets at least halfway through the season, and we need a winning record. So if after 8 games we're like 7-1, 6-2, I'll call him Indiana Jones. If we're 5-3, nah. If he's a top 5 NFL, if he's a top 5 fantasy quarterback after 8 games, I'll call him Indiana Jones. But until then, he is fuck Indiana Jones, Dr. Seuss, none of that shit. He's just Daniel Jones. He can go. He can't even be Danny Dimes. Not none of that. So that's where I am on him. Let's see who else we got. Justin Fields. Um, has had a good first game, but a lot of that was on the ground. Baker Mayfield, yeah, I like Baker. So Baker's going to be, I think, 20, which is solid. 20 plus points is solid. I don't expect the guys to score 20, 30 plus 40 every week, but I don't think anything under 20 for a quarterback is subpar. And I think Baker's going to be basically over 20 for a majority of his games. So that's my prediction on him, and I like him. Michael Penix, got my eye on him. Got to see one more game against Michael Penix, or for Michael Penix. Pat Mahomes, yeah, he had 28. Um, don't know if you get that this week. Um, we'll see, but I don't see the Patrick Mahomes of year. I mean, we had Pat Mahomes scoring in the 40s and 50s. He was lighting it up for a long time. I think that Patrick Mahomes no longer exists. He is still a elite quarterback, but he is not fantasy elite. There is a difference. So if he's on your team as quarterback, oh yeah, you got a shot every week. If he's on your team as fantasy, he's he's middle of the road now. He's an average quarterback for fantasy now. Like I said, look at this. He's Caleb Williams, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray. Those guys are all in that same ballpark. Baker Mayfield's above it. Daniel fucking Jones. So, you know, he's in uncharted territory for himself, but that's where he is. So that's where the quarterbacks are. Of course, I actually got an upgrade with Geno Smith, even though they said that I'd go down in points. But Joe Burrow, there's no way Joe Burrow stays down there. Law averages, he's gonna be back. So Jared Goff, he's gonna be back. I can only hope Geno Smith gets through this week. I have a funny feeling that my season will be with rotating quarterbacks, like I used to do rotating defenses. So now it's going to be here. JJ McCarthy, I don't know, Chris. Brock Purdy's already out, so Leo, you better fuck. Did he make a change? Let me go back to Leo's game. I didn't pay any attention. I'm pretty sure he did. Matchups. Leo son, because that would have stood out. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Leo, I'm impressed. The fact that you actually got in and changed your roster. So, the old Leo wouldn't have done that. So I appreciate you getting in there, keeping that tight. But yeah, this quarterback play, like I said, outside of the big two, Josh and Lamar, everybody else I think should be bunched up the same. Except for both fucking Dukes. Fuck both Dukes. All right, so let me go to wide receiver, all players, season. And who do we got? Debo, because he's played twice, so he's dropping. No way Zay Flowers does this again. Keon Coleman, I just picked up. I'm not even playing him this week. I think that was just, I had to clean up a roster. He had the targets, but outside of a deflection touchdown where he wasn't the target, that 25 was more like a 14. Quentin Johnson, once again, I took a chance on him because I just picked him up. So these guys, believe me, these guys weren't on my roster last week or I would have fucking won the game. Um, Quentin Johnson did not lead in targets, but he got in the end zone. So um, we'll see there too. He had two touchdowns. Not getting two touchdowns every week. Sometimes not getting any. So that's just a flyer I took. Mecca, that's a good one. Puka, solid. Garrett Wilson, no, he's not staying up there. Romeo Dobbs, liable to have a good one because, um, my old ass can't remember, but they just lost a player. So he could move up to number one. Michael Pittman, John, you got him. I said, I like him. He's a Colt. I'll just see what Danny Dimes does with him. Damn, I said Danny Dimes. I can't even call him Danny Dimes no more. Daniel fucking Jones is what he'll be. DFJ. But let's see what he does because 20 points was all right. He had 6 for 80 and a touch. So if his scores are dependent on touchdowns, I don't know. Hollywood Brown, I'm surprised is a free agent. Why is he a free agent? He was clearly their number one receiver. 10 to 16 times. He's not to be a fucking free agent any longer. Shit, y'all get to see me react in real time. Who the hell can I give up? Keon fucking Coleman. Hell yeah. And then y'all watching me in action. Let me put him in the lineup. Jameis, you're coming out because I believe Amon Ra is going to get that work. All right, so let's see what that does for my matchup. If I still think I was going to win, let's just give me a point or two. But shit, I mean, the dude has 16 fucking targets from Patrick Mahomes. They're probably going to be playing for Hind again. I'm not sure how that happened. Um, let's go back to all players again. Let me see if I didn't. If I'm known to fuck up, and y'all might have seen me fuck up in real time. Um, Hollywood Brown last week had 10 catches on 16 fucking targets. Hell yeah. I'm not giving that up. So y'all might watch commission might have pulled the game out with that win alone. So or I might overthought it and fucked up. So we'll see. John, I know you're still out there. What you think? Or is John still out there? Yep. Because I know I went in my other leagues and he was gone. Obviously, we have another work league that we're in that has 18 fucking starters and 13 on the bench. So that's what it feels like. So I know there's no one available there. So, we'll let me see. Select stream, see what that does. Nothing. All right. Second too slow. You motherfucker. Boy, I'm glad I didn't talk myself out of that. Boy, I almost put an alarm clock in the graveyard. See, man, I gotta start, man. Let me start. I gotta start doing better OPSEC. I almost gave up myself. I almost gave up a pick. John, you sneaky MFer. Woo! Everybody pull one out. Kamish was on top. Kamish talked his way into it and almost lost him. Well, see, you know what I tell you what I'm not doing is you guys can go look at these playlists yourself. Kamish is shutting that part of the show down. Let's go ahead and let me go ahead and get off of that and go back just to the league homepage. Yeah, we go ahead and that part of the commission show has just been deactivated. So you know what? The commission weekly wrap up of players and available players, you'll never see it again. At least not live. Not till when I go out there and take a look first, because hell, you don't have a spot for one. It doesn't matter. Like I say, you can't sneeze at a guy that got 16 targets in the Andy Reid offense with Patrick Mahomes as quarterback. That means they don't have many, and they don't have a lot of options. Rasheed Rice is out. I think somebody else got hurt, so they're gonna throw the ball because they can't fucking run it. So 16 targets is 16 targets. So I'm hoping that he didn't have to have 16, but if he's getting double digits, I'll take it. You know, double digit targets and a touchdown, I win it easy. So that might be. Let's say I gave up Keon Coleman, so he's out there, but Keon Coleman's numbers are like smoke and mirrors. I wouldn't believe in them. I just was desperate because I was such a low scoring team last week. So whoever had Worthy should pick them up. Yeah, whoever had him. In fact, that was Balco had Worthy. So he got knocked out. He's still out. Rasheed Rice is out. So yeah, Hollywood Brown is it. And we've already seen Juju Smith Schuster is not reliable. So um Hollywood's gonna get his looks. He's gonna get his looks. He's not the deep ball anywhere. He's more of a route runner. Yeah, I see. Fuck that. 15 targets. He gets 15 targets this week. So let's see if that pulls out a win for me. But shit, I don't talk this up till 12 o'clock. I'm still playing around with this, man. I'm feeling this YouTube thing. I really am. Um, I think one day during the week, I'm going to go on and do some research, and I'm going to. Well, here's two things. I'll try to do the split screen with John, Chris, Charlie, anybody else that wants to. And then the next part is for if you guys remember my upstairs man cave, um, nobody really uses that but me. Um, I'm thinking about turning that into like a studio, podcasting kind of studio. I get the lights, couple of cameras, the mixing board, and then just do like a weekly show where we can come in. Hey, come over to the house. I throw some snacks out. Maybe do a little bit, and then we take it on upstairs, and we have our own sports panel show. And it's not just to talk fantasy sports; it's to talk about sports in general and what's going on. And please, let's keep it to sports. That's what I would like to do. I see some of these podcasts out there, like, they just have a nice big room with lit, kind of background. I have plenty of space for that. So I'm looking at the equipment and just maybe, invite some guys out and we just sit up here and talk our shit and have our fun like everybody else. I'm not looking at it like, we're trying to take over the pod world, which would be nice, but which I doubt. But we all talk sports all the time. So shoot, to get together, have fun, we talk a lot of shit. I believe we're funnier as a group than a lot of these guys online anyway. So we could do a couple of things. Live stream Monday Night Football. Shit, I do that. But yeah, maybe let's pick a day and we sit and we talk like I said, especially within the group of guys we got here. We can talk our fantasy league, we can talk real football, and then we can talk Hard Rock slash DraftKings. Because we can kind of wrap that up into a nice little package and say, hey, who do we like this week? Who, whatever. So whatever the format is, I think, the guys that are interested, I could gotta believe John, Chris, um, the three of us talk all the time anyway. So I think maybe let's see if we can't do something if y'all are interested and just come out here and create a channel and then have a regular show. I'll start looking at some equipment. I have cameras already. I have lighting. Got a couple of backdrops, so it's just a matter of setting up. And I'm not going to have any problems doing that because you would think, well, is Miss Commish going to go for that? If she gets to pop in and get on camera, hell yeah, she's going for it. She's not going to miss an opportunity to be on TV or be on video. Not a chance in hell. By all means, she'll be behind that. So water cooler, I like it. Jax has joined the chat. Come up with some bets. Yep. So yeah, Chris, that's what I'm talking about. I said, let's brainstorm over the next couple weeks, and then let's come up with something. And I think I can put together a decent studio. I have a lot of shit just sitting around. I have a couple of cameras I can just put out there. I have the lighting. I've got the big couch. If y'all remember, I said I have the space for a good setup. So I think, man, that's doable. And we just pick a day that's convenient. Um, and we just come out here and man, we have fun with it. Um, I've always wanted to do something like this, but I always say doing it by yourself, like I say, this is one thing we're out here talking, but to have a group of guys, the conversation goes so much better and we can talk about more things. Each of us have our own ideas about certain things. Each of us has our own favorite team, which makes it even better. So, thank God we didn't do this while the Patriots were dominant because we would not be friends with John. The Eagles um, have a championship. And fortunately, my Colts have a championship in my lifetime. So we can all, you know, John, I know you got the numbers, but you're getting in cowboy territory where they were such a long time ago. People are going to not care about how long they were. So, now granted, mine was too, but it's been since Y2K. So I have a championship that begins with the two. Mrs. Kamish is a Cowboys fan, so 1995. I don't even think we had 4K yet. I think everything was maybe 720p, no downloads, none of that. TiVo might have been the big way to stream. So, or you didn't even have streaming. John, you would be in sober. Yes, you would have been VCRs. But you're not going to be insufferable now, John, because your team sucks. So, and if y'all don't beat Miami, you may have to you on our first day. You may not get to talk. We're just going to sit you in the corner, but All kidding aside, but hey, but let's think about that. That I think that'll be fun. So I'll start putting together the studio. Yep, shots fired. I'll start, putting it together. I'll do a test run, and then I'll take some pictures of the room and let y'all see what I got, and then um, let's see if we can come up with something. And then a day that we can all do this. Um, I think maybe we pick a day, we just come on and talk, and then work into a day. Like I like the Monday night live stream, but I know that you've got the Peytons and everybody else already doing that. So I think the pregame show, I could say, what do we call it? The water cooler pregame show, where we talk about, what happened up to the week, what our fantasy look like, and some bets. Like I say, hey, we do this too. So I see all TikTok and Showtime guys, hey, look, lock these in, and they're never right. So, we could do the same thing. Hey, I'm giving you free picks. Of course, you get free picks. I said, motherfuckers hit or they don't. I said, most times they don't. We can put bad picks out that don't hit either. I said, I'm not asking you to pay for them. Hey, we're giving out free picks. Everybody has free picks, so that's no different. It's no different for me whenever I'm scrolling through TikTok and I see guys, hey, avoid these guys. Yeah, all right, McAfee, thank you. Avoid these guys at all time, or don't play these guys, start them and sit them. I blow by those all the time. And here's why. You act like start and sit them. You have a fucking choice on your roster. Hey, I wouldn't start Saquon this week. I said, well, hell, what am I supposed to do? Sit him for, a backup running back somewhere? Hey, you draft your players. You're going to play them whether you don't have the option of starting and sitting players on your fantasy team. Now, if you want to talk about for, you know, betting apps, hey, I wouldn't bet on these guys versus those guys. That's different. But starting and sitting, means that don't mean shit to me because you don't have an option of starting and sitting players that you may or may not have. So if it says start a player you have, okay, sit them and then start them for who? Well, sure, be nice if you have this guy to start. Well, I don't have him either. So I mean, it's just one of those things that drives me nuts with these, guys. Hey, listen to me, guys. If you start these guys and pick them, motherfucker, anybody can do that. To be on Facebook or TikTok doing that, do that. If those guys are monetizing that, I said, then I've definitely missed my calling because anybody could do that. So that's my rant. Um, John, Chris, let's chat. Let's get together over the next couple of weeks, see if see what we can do, and then let's come over one day, and then set up the water cooler. I get me. In fact, I can get me a water cooler, sit up here. We can have the whole, some props and up, and then we can. I think we can do this. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna go ahead and tip out of here. Let everybody look at this later. Good luck to you guys, especially you two, because you guys have a good matchup going. I think I favor John still, but like I said, that's a coin toss. I gotta believe that the Hollywood Brown pick is gonna bail me out, beating Chris CP3. And if it does, it'll be happy because I can beat him with one of his own players, and nothing would make me happier. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump out of here. And before the 1 o'clock games, make sure there's no last minute injuries, and then start looking at my setup. But I'll be back on, barring any fuck ups of my week. I will be back on Tuesday evening, and I still prefer the Tuesday, and I like this time slot for Sunday. So Tuesday, Sunday, and then once we get our show, we can just run our show on whatever day of the week we're gonna pick. So all right, guys, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thanks for jumping in. I'll be in touch with both of you guys later, and then the rest of you guys hopefully get a chance to enjoy this video. And with that, I am out. Everybody